Welcome to my NBA playoff prediction. This is the TV. You can probably notice there's some burning on it. We can ignore that. But, this is Friday as I'm recording this. The final two playing games have not occurred. I've decided to go ahead and record this anyway because none of those results are really going to matter, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of things. So let's get into it. We got the Thunder versus, my guess is Phoenix. Thunder, right, 117.6 offensive rating, that puts them 7th in the league. 106.5 defensive rating, that's first. They have the best net rating in the league. They're the number one seed for a reason. SGA, MVP level season again. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins it. I would probably vote for him. And then, even though you had, J-Dub only played 33 games this year, and he's a huge part of that team. J-Dub is genuinely a very, very big part of that team, and he didn't even play a whole lot. So I think they're going to be even better in the postseason. I think Jared McCain's role postseason is going to be very interesting, and this is a round where you can kind of play him a bit more and see how he's going to adapt to postseason basketball. So, yeah, I have the Thunder winning that game in 4. Okay, Series 2. We have the Lakers and the Rockets. Now, not even a full month ago, I would have had the Lakers in 4. I think that Lakers team, when they were full, all cylinders going, insanely good. I'm a Lakers fan. My tea right there is in a Lakers mug. I love the Lakers. I think they are very good. Now it's just LeBron, which in my opinion means there's no pressure on this Lakers team. There isn't. If they go out, everyone's they had their 2 of their 3 best players out. LeBron's 41. There's no expectation. So I think that's a good thing for the Lakers. If you want to look at them a little bit in depth, they had the 10th best offensive rating, the 20th defensive rating, and the 11th best net rating. LeBron really has to try and put a team on his back, and I think he ended the season really well. I think he showed that, not that he was resting for this season, but he's really gearing up for the playoffs, and I think LeBron, I think you can never count out LeBron in a playoff series. You genuinely can't. I don't think you can. And even though it's probably his weakest roster ever built around him, I still think there are some solid pieces there. I think defensively Marcus Smart will be quite good and very important. Rui Hachimura has proven in the playoffs that he can step up what was that first game against the Grizzlies that the Lakers won a couple seasons ago in the playoffs. He really stepped up and won the Lakers that game. I think he can do something like that again. And I think that Luke Kennard showed that when he has a bit more of the ball and he can play make a bit more, that he is okay. He's solid. So I think that if you look at the Rockets, they are the 8th best offense. They are the 6th best defense and the 6th best net rating. The thing that has them very much on top of the Lakers is their rebounding. They are a very, very good rebounding team, and the Lakers aren't. Offensive rebounds are going to kill the Lakers if they're not careful, especially with the size of their roster. My big issue with Houston is their point guard rotation. Now, Reed Shepherd, he's young. He hasn't had the development I hoped he'd have over the course of the season this year, but he's just young and not experienced, and I don't really think, and I love the Thompson twins, I don't think you can play Amen as a point guard. I think he just doesn't have that real leading, facilitating aspect of him. I don't think he's a bad point guard. I just don't think that's where he's best at, and I don't think it helps the team. But I'm actually going to take the Lakers in 6. There's rumors that Austin might come back during this series, and if he does, I certainly think that brings him over the edge. I think it goes down to game 1. And I know there's the age-old saying of a series doesn't start until the away team wins, a home team loses, but I think the Lakers win. I think they win in 6. I just think LeBron has this juice for one more series, and I think it's going to push them over the edge, and it's going to give those Lakers players that bump that they need, and then they're going to have one series where they can just cause an upset. And I just don't have faith in the gelling and the chemistry of this Houston Rockets team overall. Nuggets, Wolves. Nuggets, best offense in the league. Insanely good offense, especially when Jokic is on the court. Defense, 21st defense in the league. Very bad defense, and 7th net rating. Right? When Jokic is on the court, they're so good. They are really, really good. It's just when he's off the court, they look awful. They don't look good. And I just think they haven't been as dominant as they've been previous seasons. I think they jumped up to that 3 seed because the Lakers had injuries, but that's neither here nor there. If you want to compare them to the Timberwolves, they have the 13th best offense, the 8th best defense, and the 10th best net rating. Ant did miss 21 games this season. They did go 12-9 in those 21 games, so the supporting cast managed to stay afloat. And I mean, you always got Julius Randle, who is very good for a game here and there. And I think the Timberwolves have proven in the past that they can scheme well against Denver. And they can play well against Denver. And Anthony Edwards, when it comes to postseason, I don't think you can really, it's always safe to bet against him. I think Ant-Man is very, very good. I think he's a great basketball player. And I think that he is so solid in postseason that if he hits his stride, the Nuggets team don't have anyone that can stop him. And I think that the Timberwolves have shown if you just force Jokic to score and that's it, that you can really scheme well against this team in previous years. And I think Timberwolves take this in 7. Spurs Trailblazers. I think this Trailblazers team is super exciting. I think they're young. I think it's really cool they made the postseason, especially with Dame back next year. I just think the Spurs are too good. Now, while I know the Spurs don't have any real playoff... I know you have Harrison Barnes in there, but look, you don't have any real playoff experience in your squad, which does make it really hard. I think they were a very good regular season, but I think they're going to end up being one of those young teams that look great regular season, but they're not there just yet. And I don't think you should complain about that, Spurs fans. I think that Portland aren't going to win this series. I think Spurs win it in 4, is what I have down here, and I agree with that. But... yeah, I really like the Spurs team. When Wemby's on the court, they look like the best team in the league at some points. They do. Wemby is so good. He's going to be generational. I think that they win it in 4 with Portland. You should probably... look, I don't think Portland should be upset about that. I think it's awesome that they're there. I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak one game in. But, yeah, I'm very excited for just the showcase of young talent in the postseason we have this year. I have Spurs going through in 4. Now, this is the one where I think the matchup will change things. If the Magic go through, I don't see the Magic standing a chance against the Pistons. I just don't. I think Detroit are too strong. The Hornets, while I don't think they'll be that much better off, I think that's a really exciting series. You already saw the beef that these two teams had in the regular season with that big old fight happening, and I think that's an electric playoff series, and that's why I think the NBA will probably prefer it being Charlotte versus Detroit. And that's two really young and exciting cores. I know the stuff that happened with LaMelo last game. I do think he should have been suspended. I mean, if you want to look at the Detroit stats here, 117.3 offensive rating. That gives them the 9th best, the 2nd best defensive rating, and the tied 2nd best overall net rating, right? I think they beat either team convincingly. I think Hornets come through. They provide a bit more of a fight, but I think that the Detroit Pistons beat them in 5. I think Detroit go through. I'm going to go through on 5, assuming Charlotte win, just because of that momentum they have. I do think it's very interesting. A small note for Detroit. Again, JB Bickerstaff hasn't proven himself postseason yet. And while I think he's a very, very good regular season coach and a great development coach, I trust him. I hope that he's able to just prove the fact that he is a coach that can make the postseason work, and I hope he's able to do that with this Detroit core. Next game, Cavs versus Raptors. Cavs, 118 offensive rating, the 6th best offensive rating, the 15th best defensive rating, and the 9th best net rating overall. The Cavs are interesting. I mean, they did make that move of we know Garland and Spider isn't going to work, so they've gone for Spider and Harden at their front backcourt. I understand the narrative of Harden being a playoff choker. He has had some big playoff chokes, but he also has had some big games, even as recently as in Philly, where he pops off in the playoffs and plays really well. So I'm interested to see how they work. I'm not convinced with it. I'm not convinced with it. I know Donovan Mitchell has never led a team past the second round, nor is I know that Spider hasn't gotten anyone past the second round. But yeah, I think that they are a very solid team. I just am not sold on the pairing and the chemistry yet. The Raptors. The Raptors are another team that is a bit young. I mean, if you want to look at them here, they have the 15th best offense and the 5th best defense, and that gives them the 11th best net rating. I mean, they also are a team with not a whole lot of playoff experience. I know they have some players there still that do, but I do like that core. I like Scotty Barnes. I think he's a very good player. I just think offensively they can be a little bit inconsistent at times this year. I will say I'm a bit less familiar with the East than the West, but I am going to go Cavs winning this one, and I'm going to have Cavs winning in 6. If Toronto win Game 1, they could run away with the series. I think Cleveland could crumble. But yeah, I think Cavs overall, just experience-wise, and that scoring in that backcourt is just going to be too much for Toronto, and they're going to be able to hold on. Knicks, Hawks. This is going to see whether or not that Trae Young-led Hawks versus Knicks was just a Knicks versus Trae Young rivalry, or if the Hawks are going to pick up this rivalry too. I really, really like I think this Knicks team kind of flew under the radar this year, in all honesty. If you want to look at them, they had the 4th best offense, 7th best defense, 5th best net rating. I mean, they had a lot less buzz this year, and I know they have a new coach in, and it'd be his first playoff series, but I think they were very, very solid. I know that Bridges didn't have the best year, but I'm very excited to see them. I still have a lot of faith in that team. And then you have the Hawks. The Hawks, obviously, they made that Trae Young trade, and when everyone kind of overreacted, in my opinion, to that first 2 weeks where CJ didn't look good there, and it was just them trying to find their footing, and everyone being like, oh, Jalen Johnson's bad now, they shouldn't have traded him. That's clearly a trade for the future. And the Hawks have that pick from the Pelicans, so who knows what that could end up being. I have a lot of faith in the Hawks, especially for that future. I think there's not much pressure on them this playoff series. I think the Knicks end up just being too strong overall roster-wise. Celtics, Sixers. For Philly here, you don't have any Joel Embiid at the moment. I know it's appendicitis, so if you can hold on until he gets back, I think the series gets a little bit more interesting. But there's not a whole lot of confirmation on when he's back, and I think they're missing a really good shooter, McCain. But yeah, this Boston team, especially with Tatum back, they're just too strong. They are. They are too strong. They're really, really solid. They're built exceptionally well. I know they have a couple new pieces that may not, that will be really interesting postseason-wise this year. But, yeah, I think they're too solid overall, and I think that Boston win in 5. Second round. This series is very much dependent on if Luka's back. If Luka's back and the Lakers are healthy, I have them winning. I do. I genuinely do. I think Luka's another one of those players that has shown that when he's healthy in the playoffs, you can't bet against him, you know? He's very, very good. And I think that they're a very, very good team. And I know they got blown out by the Thunder earlier this year, but obviously Luka went down and it's the regular season, so you can't put too much weight on that necessarily. But yeah, I think Lakers win it in 7 if Luka's back, but I'm going to go through on this bracket kind of presuming that the Lakers don't have Luka back, and I'm going for the Thunder in 6. I think the Lakers, if Reeves is healthy, I think they can snag a couple games at home. But yeah, Thunder in 6 overall. They're just going to be too strong. Timberwolves, Spurs. I'm picking the Wolves here, in all honesty. And I know you might be like, the Spurs are the second seed. Look how good they looked regular season. I think their experience gets them here. I know that they have a lot of scoring, but you don't have that playoff experience. They don't know how to play under the lights. The Timberwolves know how to play as the underdogs in a playoff series. And I'm backing Ant. I think Ant loves to show up against the big teams and the big superstars, and he absolutely has the opportunity to here. And I just think that it's going to be a very good series, though. Wemby's not going to go quietly. I think it'll be interesting to see how schematically they try and, people try and deal with Wemby in a playoff series. But yeah, I have the Wolves taking this one in, I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say it's going to be a really good, close series. We're going to get a lot of close games. Wolves in 7. Pistons, Cavs. I mean, my issues with the Cavs still stay strong here. And I think it's also JB Bickerstaff against his previous team. I think he's going to really, really want to get that right. So I'll be very intrigued. I think the Pistons just defensively are so good. And the offensive pairing of Cade and Jalen Duren is that good. Duncan Robinson, if he can keep his 3 points going well in the playoffs, that I think they're just going to be too strong. I don't see Cleveland being able to stop them here. I have Cleveland losing that series in 6. I did accidentally spoil my pick here. I think the Knicks win. Like the Knicks versus the Celtics in that last series, I know Tatum went down. I don't think that changes the outcome. I think the Knicks are built so well against the Celtics roster. And especially now, I think this Celtics team's weaker than they were last year, personally. I'm saying all of this stuff with all my Lakers merch being I'm not biased. I am biased. I hate the Celtics. But yeah, I think the Knicks are going to be too strong. I think it's a very good series. I think it goes all the way to 7. But I think the Knicks are just too strong of a team, and they just beat them. They're just constructed super well. And I think there's the lack of buzz around the Knicks has intrigued me. This New York win this in 7. T-done. Western Conference Finals. Thunder. Timberwolves. The Thunder are that good once again. I think they have built such a good team, and even without being fully healthy this season, they've continued to show how good and solid of a rotation they are, and they're going to go through in 6 games. As much as I like the Wolves, I just think that they are still lacking a couple pieces, and this core isn't going to be enough to get them over that hump. Thunder in 6. Then we have Knicks Pistons, rematch of the first round last year. If you watch this first round again, Pistons should probably have won this series. And And I know that might be a hot take, but they're in a lot of the games, their inexperience kind of like caught up to them there though in their decision making, and I think they learn from that and they really make a deep postseason run here. I think it is a very good series. I think defensively, Pistons are just going to be able to bully them. I don't think Cat's going to have an answer for Jalen Duren. I don't think defensively they have an answer for all those pieces, and I think the Pistons have answers for Knicks defensively. I think that with Cade Cunningham back and he'll get some air under his wings, I guess, he's going to go well, and they're going to win this series in 6. Thunder versus Pistons. Now, look, I know it's kind of boring to have 2 1 seeds in the playoff finals. I've picked upsets along the way, though. It is what it is. I am very, very excited in this hypothetical scenario for the way these two teams match up. Where, like, the Pistons were very, very good. And with Cade back, I think they're good again. While I do think that their defense is stellar, I just don't think they can deal with that Thunder. And, I mean, the Thunder coming off a previous 7-game final series, I think they're able to kind of have that experience and have that calmness going into that playoffs being the heavy favourite once again, and I think that's going to get them over the line, and I think they take out this final series in 5 games. Pistons still a little bit too young, but I don't think Pistons would be upset when making the finals. I think making the finals, they're like, we're just happy to be here, you know? Like, I'm very excited to see this series and the way the finals play out. But yeah, I have the Thunder going back-to-back, first team since the Warriors to do it. So yeah, very, very good play. I think SGA will go through and get finals MVP again. Another great season for him. But yeah, overall, I mean, a couple of these results I can see going either way, but that's my playoff prediction. Hopefully it goes well than my March Madness prediction. But yeah, thanks for watching.